And we will now proceed with the discussion on the types of organizational leadership. So it's very important that we know the first one, the ethical leadership. So what is it all about? So it is the demonstration of normatively appropriate conduct through personal action and interpersonal relationships, and the promotion of such conduct to followers through two-way communication, reinforcement, and decision making. When we say ethical leadership, it involves a leader who consistently demonstrate behavior that aligns with appropriate conduct. So I think the best example of this ethical leadership is like, let us say you consider a CEO who consistently upholds transparency and honesty in their interactions with employees, clients, and stakeholders. And this leader not only follow ethical principles personally, but also promotes these values within the organizational culture. So, as an ethical leader, you communicate openly about company decisions. You encourage employees to voice concerns and reward ethical behavior through positive reinforcement. And here are the elements of ethical leadership. First one is honesty. As an ethical leader, you value truthfulness and transparency in your communication. You provide accurate information and avoid deception or misleading behavior. So, a leader who openly acknowledges mistakes, communicates challenges truthfully. And second one, another element of ethical leadership is justice. As an ethical leader, you prioritize fairness and equity in your decision making process. You treat individuals with impartiality and ensure that everyone has equal opportunity. Third is, as an ethical leader, you value respect. So here, you show respect for dignity, rights, and opinions of your members and other people. So, an ethical leader, you create an inclusive and supportive environment that values diversity and individual contributions. Fourth is, an ethical leader have integrity. So, as an ethical leader, you should uphold a strong sense of integrity, maintaining consistency between your words and actions. You adhere to moral and ethical principles, even in challenging situations. Fifth, as an ethical leader, you have a responsibility. You take responsibility for your action and decisions. You understand the consequences of your choices and you prioritize the well-being of your team and the organization. And also, as an ethical leader, you are transparent. You are transparent in your communication and decision-making processes, and you share information openly, ensuring that stakeholders or your team members are well informed about relevant matters. And we have right here the moral components of ethical leadership. The first one is moral awareness or moral sensitivity. It's the capacity of a leader or an individual to recognize that one has encountered a moral dilemma. So, I think the best example of this would be like, let us say, a manager who observes a decision-making process within the team that involves potential bias, and the manager recognizes that there is a moral dilemma regarding fairness and equality in the situation. So that showcase moral awareness. You know what is happening. And next is moral judgment or moral reasoning. The individual becomes aware of the moral dilemma happening in their group or organization. So it involves the process of evaluating the ethical implications of a situation and making a judgment about what is morally right or wrong. So let us say in the previous mentioned scenario that I've provided a while ago, let us say the manager engages in moral judgment by assessing the potential consequences of the biased decision-making process and considering the ethical principles involved. And next is moral intention or moral choosing. The leader or an individual made a choice after considering the option available while amid a moral dilemma. So on this one, it involves the commitment to act in alignment with ethical principles. So let us say an example would be following your moral judgment. So the same scenario, the manager decides to address the biased decision-making process within the team, and the intention is to rectify the situation and ensure that future decisions are made based on fairness and equality. Last step is the moral action. It is distinct from the first three, and it is a call for the leader to act, to do something. So moral action, it's the final step, and it involves the leader to actively do something in response to the moral dilemma. So it requires translating moral awareness, judgment, and intention into concrete steps or behavior. So the same scenario, let us say the manager demonstrating moral action implements measures to ensure a fair and unbiased decision-making process within the team, and this could involve, let us say, providing training on diversity and inclusion, or let us say establishing clear guidelines or addressing specific instances of bias. And we have right here the 4V model of ethical leadership, which is values, vision, voice, and virtue. So the first one, values. Leaders needs to first go in search of his own core values and develop discipline. So it represents the ethical principle and belief that guide a leader's decision and action, and it prioritizes values such as honesty, integrity, fairness, and accountability. So example of this would be like, let us say, a CEO consistently emphasizing the importance of integrity and transparency in all his business dealings. And this commitment to values influences the organizational culture and shapes how employees approach their work. Second V would be vision. It's the ability to implement his action in such a way that they lead to a certain goal. So the ethical leader's ability to create and communicate a compelling vision for the organization, wherein it should align with ethical principles and it should inspire others to work toward a common goal. So an example of this would go like this. Let us say a political leader articulates a vision for a society characterized by social justice, inclusivity, and environmental sustainability. This ethical vision motivates citizens and stakeholders to support policies and initiatives that align with these values. And third is voice. Leader must have voice in order to make it clear in a way that motivates them to act. So when it comes to this third ethical leadership, which is the V, the voice, it involves open communication, active listening, and the empowerment of others. So as a team leader, you should foster a culture where team members feel comfortable expressing their opinions and providing feedback. And the last V would be virtue. It's the center of the model and would strive to do the right things and act appropriately. So it focuses on the personal qualities and character of the ethical leader. It involves embodying virtues such as honesty, humility, empathy, and courage in one's behavior. Next is transformational leadership. It stimulates and inspires followers to both achieve extraordinary outcome and develop their own leadership capacity. When we say transformational leadership, these are kind of leaders who somehow adopt or motivate followers to achieve extraordinary outcomes and develop their full potential. So a leader who adopts this style or approach focus on creating a shared vision, fostering a positive organizational culture, and empowering individuals to excel beyond their expectations. One example for this is Elon Musk, who is the CEO of Tesla and SpaceX. So he has this very great vision wherein he wants to colonize the Mars, and he wants to transition the world to sustainable energy. So he was able or have this ability to articulate a compelling vision and innovation. And he is somewhat wants to push the boundaries of what is achievable in the fields of electric vehicles and space exploration. And here are the four I's of transformational leadership. The first one is individualized consideration. It gives empathy and support, keeps communication open, and places challenges before followers. So this individualized consideration, it's like that as a leader, you recognize and address the individual needs and the development of your follower, and you tailor your approach to support the growth and well-being of each of your team member. Next one is intellectual stimulation. It stimulate and encourage creativity in their followers. So as a transformational leader, you encourage creativity, innovation, and critical thinking among your followers. And you challenge the status quo and you promote intellectual growth and foster a culture of continuous learning. The next one is inspirational motivation. You inspire followers and optimism about future goals. So as a transformational leader, you communicate a vision that excites and energizes your follower. And next is idealized influence. Role model for high ethical behavior, instill pride, respect, and trust. So as a transformational leader, you are expected to serve as a role model and earn the admiration, trust, and respect of followers. And leaders with idealized influence act with integrity, exhibit strong values, and are perceived as ethical role models. And the third type of organizational leadership is transactional leadership. In managerial leadership, rewards and punishment motivate workers. People perform their best when the chain of command is definite and clear. When we say transactional leadership, it emphasizes structured exchanges between leaders and followers. They rely on clear roles, expectations, in a system of rewards and punishment. And transactional leaders, they employ this approach, which engage in contingent reward system, tying rewards to specific performance goals, and actively manage deviations from expected standards through both active and passive forms of management by exceptions. The best example of this would be in a corporate setting, and a transactional leader might implement a bonus system, promising financial rewards for meeting sales target. So these are the three components of transactional leadership. There's contingent reward. These are actual rewards offered in exchange for satisfactorily carrying out the assignment. So it involves leaders setting clear performance expectations, and once the performance has been hit by the followers, they will be offered rewards or recognition when they meet those goals. And next is management by exception, by passive. So this it is passively for deviance, mistake, and errors. What does it mean? So passive management by exception. It involves leaders intervening only when significant problem arise, allowing routine operations to proceed without constant oversight, and leaders focus on addressing issues that escalate to a point where intervention is necessary. Next is management by exception active. The leader arranged to actively monitor deviance. So on this one, it entails leaders to actively monitor performance and intervene when deviations from established standards or expectations occurs. Leaders address issue promptly, providing guidance or corrective action to maintain performance standards. Transactional leadership, it's very common in corporate or business world. Next is authentic leadership. Authentic leadership, these leaders are transparent, and ethical leader behavior encourage open sharing of information, and leaders are aware of their own values, moral perspective, knowledge, and strength. Authentic leadership, you are very transparent and you have this self-awareness. These authentic leaders strive to be true to themselves. They maintain consistency between their values, action, and belief. And this leadership approach involves building authentic and trusting relationship with followers, fostering an environment of openness and honesty. And authentic leaders, they exhibit a deep understanding of their own strengths and weaknesses, allowing them to lead with authenticity and emotional intelligence. So here are the four components of authentic leadership. They have self-awareness. They know how to assess their own weakness and strength, and may also include self-reflection, and they ask for feedbacks. So here on self-awareness, authentic leaders are introspective and continually strive to know themselves better. And also, authentic leaders, they have this unbiased processing. They encourage employees to share their opinions and experience and helps avoid potential conflicts. So, on this one, this leaders, they entails considering diverse perspective and viewpoints before making decisions. And authentic leaders weigh various opinions. They encourage input from team members and demonstrate fairness in decision making. Next is relational transparent. So leaders remain honest when sharing their own thoughts and feelings. So authentic leaders foster an environment where relationships are based on authenticity. So it really involves open and honest communication if you're going to have this kind of leadership style. They share information, they admit mistakes, and they build trust through genuine interaction. Next is internalized moral perspective. Leaders resolve moral issues and dilemmas. So on this one, it involves having a strong ethical foundation and making decisions based on personal moral compass. And authentic leaders prioritize principles and values, aligning their actions with ethical standards. So next one is spiritual leadership. Religious and ethics values based approaches to leadership. When we say spiritual leadership, it encompasses both religious and ethics values based approaches. It involves integrating profound principles into leadership practice. So in a spiritual leadership approach, the leaders draw inspiration from their faith's teaching, fostering a sense of community and moral guidance. So here are the 6 behaviors of a spiritual leader. They respect for other values. They respect and honor the diverse values and beliefs of individuals within their team or community. They have this fair treatment. So they emphasize fairness in their interactions and decision making. They ensure equitable treatment for all. They express care and concern. So they express genuine care and concern for the well-being of others. They go beyond professional relationship to foster a sense of connection and support. And they listen actively and responsively. So they not only do the hearing, they pay close attention to others, not only hearing their words, but also understanding their emotion and perspective. And also, they show appreciation for others' contribution. Spiritual leaders acknowledge and appreciate the contribution of individuals within their team or community. They recognize and express gratitude for the efforts and achievements of others, and that reinforces a positive and collaborative atmosphere. And also, spiritual leader, they have this reflective practice which include managing emotion. So on this one, spiritual leaders, they regularly evaluate their own actions, decisions, and emotional responses, and they manage their emotions effectively, cultivating emotional intelligence to navigate challenges with composure and empathy. Next, as we have charismatic leadership. So it involves charm, interpersonal connection, and persuasiveness to motivate others. So it is characterized by a leader's ability to inspire and captivate followers through their personality, charm, and visionary appeal. And charismatic leaders often create a sense of enthusiasm and loyalty among their followers. So here are the characteristics of charismatic leadership. They have excellent communication skills. They clearly communicate duties and goals to their team and speak openly in a professional way. So one example of this would be Miriam Defensor Santiago. She was an excellent speaker. She knows her job well. So that is an example of a charismatic leader. So they are adept communicators who can articulate their vision with clarity, conviction, and enthusiasm. And next one, a charismatic leader is empathic and compassionate. They demonstrate empathy and compassion toward their followers, and they understand the needs and concerns of others. And they actively listen and connect emotionally. Next is confident. Charismatic leaders, they are confident. They exude confidence in their abilities and vision, and they instill a sense of assurance in their followers. At the same time, they remain humble. And yeah, charismatic leaders are willing to accept their mistakes and take on mistake from their teams as their own. So another one, charismatic leaders are self-aware. They focus on understanding themselves and their roles. So they possess the self-awareness, understanding their own strengths and weaknesses, their values and emotion. They're aware of that. And it allows them to lead authentically, aligning their actions with their personal values and creating a consistent and genuine leadership style. Also, charismatic leaders are mature. They develop and drive a team towards the organization in wise mindset when approaching everything they do. So they exhibit maturity in their decision making, and it enables them to navigate complex situations, help them make sound judgment. And also, charismatic leaders are optimists. Leader can build a positive attitude. So they maintain this positive outlook even in challenging circumstances, and their optimism inspires hope and confidence among followers, fostering a belief in the achievable success of shared goals. Next is charismatic leaders are passionate. They always show great deal of passion in everything they do. So they exhibit this enthusiasm and dedication toward their vision or mission, and it contributes to the ability of a leader to motivate and inspire others. And we have another one, the servant leadership. So serving the greater good allow employees learn and grow while bringing their own expertise in tactics. So it's a leadership style that emphasizes serving others and prioritizing their needs and well-being. And instead of focusing solely on accumulating power or personal success or interest, servant leaders are dedicated to serve and empower their followers. So this type of leadership fosters a collaborative and supportive organizational culture. So here are the characteristics of servant leadership. So that involves listening. Servant leaders, they listen to what their team say. So they prioritize active and empathic listening. They seek to understand their perspective, concern, and needs. And next one, servant leaders, they have empathy. They contribute to success in their professional life. So as a servant leader, you allow to have this emotional connection with your follower, and you respond to them compassionately, especially for challenges. And you create this supportive culture for them. And also, if you are a servant leader, you have this characteristic of healing, fixing the problem before moving on to the next goal. So as a servant leader, you aim to address and mend any emotional and relational wounds within the team or organization. Next is servant leader have this awareness. Servant leader must know their strengths and weaknesses. So servant leaders know their own strengths and weaknesses. They know the dynamics and challenges within their organization, and this guides their decision making and helps them respond effectively to the needs of their followers. And we have right here the fifth one, persuasion. Leader guide and persuade their members. So they do not coerce their followers or members They just seek to influence and guide others through effective communication. Next is, as a servant leader, you have this conceptualization. You communicate larger goals and why important is it. So it involves the ability to envision and articulate a compelling vision for the organization. So as a servant leader, you possess a strategic and forward-thinking mindset. And also, as a servant leader, you have this foresight. You learn from past mistake and success. So it's the ability to anticipate future trends, challenges, and opportunities, and you allow your followers to make informed. You somehow have this strategic planning, which allows you to make informed decisions that positively impact the organization's future. And also, as a servant leader, you have this stewardship. You understand the importance of responsibilities. So you have to be responsible to take care of your members. You have to nurture the resources of your organization. And as a servant leader, you view your role as stewards, ensuring the well-being of the organization and its member, and you make decisions that contribute to long-term sustainability. And also, on servant leadership, there should be commitment. So you have to motivate your team to grow. So that means that you have this unwavering commitment to the organization's vision and goals. You have to inspire your followers by showcasing dedication and passion for the shared mission. And also, as a servant leader, you have to build community. You have to share opinions and actively contribute to the team regularly. So as servant leaders, they excel at building a sense of community and connection among their followers. So on this one, you have to emphasize a sense of togetherness and shared purpose. And that's the end of the lesson about the different types of organizational leadership. If there is any confusion or question, just feel free to ask me during our face-to-face discussion.